Hi guys, Theresa here. I'm doing this a little differently today than I normally do, so bear with me. It is November 10th, 2015. It is 10:07 a.m. here in Wyoming, and yes, I know my hair's a mess, and I'm a mess, and I really don't care, so, you know, I don't figure any of you are coming on here to see how I look daily. You know, so let's do the temperature real quick. It is 42 degrees out. The high will be 46 and the low will be 32. And I believe that we're supposed to get some snow this evening. Let's check real quick, see. Maybe it's not going to come up. It's not coming up. Anyway, I heard that we were supposed to get some snow today. So, or tonight. Oh, we are. Around 6 p.m. or so, we're supposed to get some snow. So, we'll see. What did I do last night? Well, I ended up, I laid down for a couple of hours after I got done talking to you guys and doing my video, you know, and stuff. And then I got up and did some looming, finished that pair of slippers, and then I ended up having to go all the way into town to get my husband because he had to work late, you know, and just kind of sat there and waited with the dog because we needed to go clear across town to get my prescription, and excuse me, they closed at 8. So we made it there just, you know, barely in time, and got together enough money because it was only $15 for the antibiotic, the Augmentin, so got that here, and let me show you these things. I mean, they must have a pretty good infection because they're 1,000 milligrams, and I have to take them twice a day. But look how, oops, sorry, wow, these are horse pills, guys. You know, they're really big, so let's take twice a day. And then we came home, cooked dinner real quick, and did all that kind of stuff. And then I did some more work last night, some more looming. And then I haven't done anything really this morning, guys. I've just kind of been, you know, kind of thinking about some stuff, stressed out about some financial matters. You know, it's just there is no money at all. And I know that so many of you must be identifying with this, because are we starting to go through a modern age Great Depression in a way? I mean, it won't be like the Great Depression, but modern version of it, because economy in this United States is not very good right now. Now, if you're not affected by it, feel very lucky, because it's like my brother-in-law called the other night, and in their area, and in his job, it just dried up all of a sudden. And his wife's job, which is always a very lucrative job, especially with the holidays coming, you know, there's been major cutbacks and stuff. The sales just are not there. I know so many people. A year ago, in our area in Wyoming, you could not find a place to rent. Now, if you go drive even out in this area or just anywhere around, you're seeing empty houses and stuff. I mean, where there were none before. I mean, before, honest to goodness, they were getting $900 a month for an RV space. Seriously. And now there's big vacancies. That's how hard hit this area has been. Like I said, we are not by far the only ones really, really affected by this big turn of events. It makes you wonder, though, what's going to happen for the future. Now, we've always been very frugal people, you know. But like I said, unless you're not affected by it, even the cost of groceries right now, you know, is just astronomical. I mean, you know, it's just, to me, it's just astonishing. The price of produce and the price of, you know, grains has gone up, the price of meat and stuff. I mean, we are all going to have to really do something because, you know, I never dreamed that we would be at the age we're at now where we would be wondering what we were going to do. You know, I mean, like I said, we've always been very frugal. My husband stayed at that job for 34 years, so we do have that retirement coming in. But there's no way with the cost of everything that we have enough to, you know. And, you know, the health issues are the health issues. And, you know, and I know we're very lucky because there's a lot of people that have no retirement or anything. And, you know, it's really a sad state of affairs. On my other channel, I'm going to say this real close, real fast. A lot of you know that yesterday I was diagnosed with having now diabetes. I've been pre-diabetic for over a year. And we were hoping that, and despite my best efforts, we were hoping that with diet and exercise that I would be able to bring those numbers down, and even trying for 7 months, you know, and losing weight and stuff. They haven't come down enough. So that's just life, and I'm handling it. But on my other channel, I'm going to do a whole thing on how you can get this Victoza if you're on it, or if you're on other drugs by this same company, that you can get a card which really saves you, which will make your Victoza $25 a month. And it also works in conjunction with some other diabetic meds, because I know, you know, some of us, you know, it will work with, as far as we know, with your insurance. And if you don't have insurance, though, it's only going to be $25 a month. So, you know, I'm gonna go through that on my other channel, which is crafting and healthier lifestyle with Simply Twee. The link will be below, so I can save you guys some money. You know, because like I said, my husband was on this before. He had to go, and he really liked it. He had to go off of it because at that point in time there was no offers like this, and it was $600 a month with our insurance. So, so yeah, I'm just kind of milling over some things, and also on my other channel I'm going to be talking about some of well, I can talk about it on this channel actually. I wanted to talk about child abuse, or my version of it. And I think it's very healing and very therapeutic for us to talk about things that have traumatized us that happened earlier in our life. And it doesn't mean that we have to, you know, give names and stuff. But A lot of you know that I've never had a good relationship with my mother. My mother had never wanted me, never loved me, and made sure I knew it. And that would be her problem. And I can finally say that after a lot of therapy and a lot of soul searching and stuff, that is her problem. That I know as an innocent child, I did nothing to deserve her hatred. And, her telling me like she wished I'd never been born on numerous occasions and etc. One of the things that stands out for me the most is, now, I was 4 to 5 years old. I know I was not older than 5. Actually, I was more like 4. Yeah. 4, almost 5 years old. And it was in the summertime. And my mother was pregnant with my only sibling. And she was supposed to be she was on crutches. She had phlebitis, always has had phlebitis. It's a genetic thing in our family. But she was not watching me at all. Now, my grandparents owned a bowling alley that was over a mile away from our house, and you had to cross an extremely busy street. Being unsupervised and being bored and stuff, evidently I would walk up to my grandparents' bowling alley, and my grandfather would find me up there, and I still can remember him saying to me, "Aren't you Terry Ann?" Because he used to call me Terry Ann, everybody in the family did. And I would, no. I'm sitting at the cafe counter that they had inside the bowling alley, eating an ice cream cone. I can remember this very clearly. "Oh, yes, I think you are," and stuff. Well, then he would call my mother. And then he would either drive me home or have her come up and get me. This happened 3 or 4 times. And like I said, sadly, the only time my mother ever noticed I was gone was when my grandfather would call and say, "Your daughter's up here." Well, my mother's solution to this, and I still remember this vividly, was she put a belt on me around my waist and buckled it where I couldn't get to it. Attached a dog chain to it, and then attached the dog chain to the clothesline. It was one of those long ones that run across your yard, pole on either side of your yard. And, made sure it was not long enough that I could get to the back door, or I could get to the back gate. I remember I couldn't even sit down. I remember it was very hot out. I remember being out there by myself for the longest time. I remember a few of the neighbors coming out of the back door and looking at me, because we all had chain link. We didn't have privacy fences. But in those days, nobody notified anybody. They just kind of look at me and shake their head. I know, I remember, like I said, I just remember it was so hot out. And I couldn't get to the back gate, and I couldn't get to the house. I mean, even the dogs were inside the house. And I remember the sun beating down, and it was so hot, and I was so thirsty, and I never felt so unloved and unwanted. You know, that was, like I said, my first memories of my mother is of anger anyway. You know, but, you know, and she still tells that story fondly, like it's the greatest thing she ever did. She did not see that that was child abuse. She does not see that if you did that in this day and age, police would be called. DFS would be called. You don't do that. All because she didn't want to have to watch me. Somehow it was my fault that she was on crutches and pregnant. You know? Just because you're on crutches and pregnant doesn't mean you couldn't have engaged me in something, or you could have locked the back and front door and made me stay in the house with you. You know? And I've never told anybody about that besides my husband. He was horrified when he heard my mother talking about it the very first time that she told the story. You know? And she's like, boy, I taught her, you know. It's like, yeah, you did. You know? You know, I would never do that to my children. I would never do that to my children. Never did. But anyway, I just kind of wanted, you know, it's therapeutic for me to tell people about that. Hang on just a second. Charlie, no. Charlie, down. We have just a little section of the sectional couch now. And my husband's using the recliner I used to sit in, and I have an office chair out here. Well, he is bound determined he's going to lay on this couch, even though the beagle's up there, the dachshund's up there. And he's like, he tried to lay on the beagle, and he's, you know, 150 some pounds of lubba-dubba. Right, dog? I love this dog. Whenever I run errands or anything, if I have the Jeep, I take him with me. He makes me feel safe. You know, and stuff. He's kind of my emotional support. But anyway, I just wanted to share that story with you guys. You know, of a painful memory. You know, I look at you guys that have close relationships with your mothers, and I'm just in awe, because I've never had that. I've never felt that. Okay, this is going to be kind of hard, but I'll go ahead and share this part too. Is, as you guys know, that I've said before, that I was a chronic bedwetter. And part of that was because of a medical condition, you know, where they had to go in and make the opening of my urethra larger. The urine and stuff was basically backtracking. It wasn't emptying all the way, constant infection and stuff. And, you know, I mean, I was catheterized so much that it didn't even faze me. I had a urologist, always catheterized. Always. But anyway, my mother was not kind about that at all, or understanding. She would be so angry and stuff, and she would not let me change my sheets. And okay, understand this. There was no rubber sheet or anything, mattress protector at all. She would not allow me to change the sheets or the bedding. You know, the most you could do is pull back the covers and hope it air dried. But then she would insist that you made your bed. So when you would climb in it at night, it would be cold and wet. I would get sores all the time because of laying in urine. I mean, I remember the urine would turn brown and I mean the smell and the mattress, you know. And she refused to let me take a bath. We didn't even have a shower. After I would have an accident at night. So I would have to go to school the next day smelling like that. Yeah. Kids not understanding, and even teachers. Kids would call me piss pot. Nobody wanted to play with me, you know. But I don't blame them. They didn't understand why I smelled so horribly. I even had a couple of teachers send me home because I smelled so bad. And like I said, in those days, they didn't call or have anybody check or anything. My mother one time, out of frustration, decided, and this is, you know, she would take me to a urologist. She knew I had a problem. You know, I mean, it took a number of years before they discovered that I needed to have surgery, you know. Took my mattress out into the front yard. It was a summer day, all the kids around. And I remember all the kids riding by on their bikes, making fun and stuff. You know, my dad once in a while would sneak to help me to change the bedding, you know, and put on a fresh nightgown, and you know, and then he would wash the sheets and stuff if she wasn't home and stuff. But yeah, I mean, I remember it would smell so bad, and you know, it turned brown, and it would be so cold and wet, and you know, I got to the point where as I got older, I would sneak and I would put baby powder on the mattress to try to dry that up, and I would put baby powder on, you know, where I'd wet, and then I got a little smarter and I would sneak a towel to cover up the wet spot so I didn't have to lay right on it, you know. I think that's why I'm so picky about and worried about smells now. But yeah, he could be very cruel about that. She was not understanding about that at all. You know, finally then I had surgery when I was in junior high, and it corrected the problem, and I didn't wet the bed anymore. But anyway, I just wanted to share this stuff. I don't know why, it just helps me, and I hope if somebody else hears my story, they'll not feel quite as alone in life, and they're like, hey, maybe I'm not as much of a freak either, because, you know, other people have been through bad things too. I mean, you know, you know, I mean, I'm not saying this for anybody to feel sorry for me. I've overcome so much, and you know, so I don't have a relationship with my parents now, because my mother actually become meaner as she's gotten older, if that's possible. You know, this is the woman who bragged about killing numerous cats in high school. I guess at that point in time you could go to the dog pound and you could just get cats, because for a science project for extra credit she wanted to do of cat skeletons. Well, you know, she'd get a couple, kill a couple skeletons, didn't turn out right. She described how she's boiling them on the stove to get the meat off the bones, etc. I mean, really graphic, gross, heartbreaking detail. And then she'd just go get a couple more. I mean, she bragged about how they would torture cats as kids and stuff. I mean, wow. Yeah. My grandmother always said my mother was the last person that should have ever had children. And, you know. But anyway, I'm not here to, you know, make anybody feel sorry for me, or, you know, like I said, I have no relationship with my parents now, and I won't. It's just to say, hey, this is my story, and, you know, this is where I come from. But anyway, I'm going to get off here because I know this is really long. She stuck with me through all of this. Thank you. Please like and subscribe, share with your friends. Thank you to all my new subscribers and my old ones. I think you all are awesome, and I love you guys, and I will talk to you tomorrow. Bye.